Hey, it's Justin here with the Precision Rifle Network. I just want to show you a quick video on how to use the same scope on multiple rifles. Obviously, if you can afford to put a nice scope on every rifle, that's great. That makes it very convenient, but not everybody can afford to put a high-end scope on every single rifle that they own. So over this year, I've kind of been testing this out, and it seems to be working pretty well. So I'm going to show you how to switch a scope and be able to keep it almost zeroed on every rifle that you put it on, and saving your ammunition down the range trying to zero a scope in. So I've got two rifles set up, and we're going to swap that scope over, and then we'll go to the range and confirm and make sure that this indeed does work. So let's check it out. All these numbers and adjustment that I'm about to show you are unique to this rifle and this scope, as will your data be unique to your firearm. So don't take any of these adjustments and think that you can use them on your gun and it still work. It's going to be unique to your firearm. So let's imagine that we've gone to the range, and you will have to initially zero your scope on the firearms that you want to use it on. But once you've recorded that data from that zero, you should be able to return to that zero or get very close to it each time that you switch your scope over. So imagine that you've gone to the range, you've zeroed your rifle, and this is where you're at. So for your elevation, what you would do is go ahead and set your turret to your zero on your scope. Go ahead, set that, tighten down your caps, and from there what you'll do is you're going to just bottom out that turret and collect the data. So I'm going to go ahead, bottom it out, and I know that one rotation on this scope is 25 MOA. So there's 25, so 26 MOA. So after that, I would just simply return it back to zero and record that data. And here's what that would look like. So I know that my elevation should be 26 MOA from the bottom for this gun. So when I put the scope on there, I simply bottom it out, adjust the elevation up 26 MOA, and that should be my elevation. Now for windage, it's a little bit different. So for windage, you want to keep in mind what gun this scope came off of. I hope that makes sense. So I know that I took this scope off my Remington 7 mag prior to putting it on this gun. And now I've zeroed it, so here's my adjustment. I know that I had to adjust 12 MOA right to zero it to my 6.5 Creedmoor. So before I set my zero on my scope here, I want to record that data. And here's what that would look like. So I would simply write down that my windage is right 12 MOA from my 7 mag zero. And then once I've recorded that data, I can go ahead and set my zero on that scope. Setting it down to zero and then tightening in. So I hope that makes sense. You need to, on your windage, you need to know the gun and record the gun that it came off of, and then you can compare that data. So now let's take this scope off of the 6.5, put it on the 6 Creedmoor, and I've already got the data for the 6 Creedmoor with it coming off of the 6.5. So we'll use that data, put the scope on there, make our adjustments, and let's see where we're at. I will also say I would recommend that you use the same style rail for all the guns that you want to swap your scope with. This will make it easier, make it fit better, and make it more consistent. I have all 20 MOA rails on my guns, and that makes it easy to swap back and forth. I also would recommend that you use some type of torque driver. I like these fix-it sticks. For your torque, you do want all your screws to be at the same torque. And that also just makes sure that you're not over tightening, especially if you're going to use these and be loosening and tightening over and over. You definitely want to use a torque driver to check your torque and make sure everything is consistent. All right, so we've got that. Let's head to the range. All right, so I know that for this 6mm Creedmoor that my elevation is going to be 35 MOA from the bottom. So let's make that adjustment. There's 25. We'll go 10 more to 35. And for my windage, I know I need to go right 4 MOA from my 6.5. All right, so now let's check and see how close we are. That shot was about, 3/4 of an inch low. So I'll make an adjustment and we'll see where the second shot lands. And that shot landed pretty much dead center, just slightly high, but not enough to adjust for. So I'm happy with that. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're trying to use one scope for multiple rifles, I hope that helps. I've been using this for 6 or 8 months on 2 or 3 different guns, and it seems to be working well. The biggest thing is just to remember to collect good data on your guns that you can refer back to make those scope adjustments and take some of the guesswork out of it. And like you saw in the video, it should maybe take two rounds at the range to get you back to 0. Sometimes it doesn't even take you but maybe 1. So hope you liked the video. As always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.